Dwayne, Russ Brown from Kentucky today. Could you sort of tell us what your analysis was of the first game and where you think you're going to have to improve against Miami?
I thought the guys came out. They played really hard. They were excited. I said this before. I thought we played a very, very good defense. That was a defense with a lot of seniors on it that's played a lot of football together. Some really good players on that team. And so I think that it was great seeing our two tackles, with replacing Makai and Haycraft. It was good seeing Renato and Adonis out there early and just kind of seeing those guys battle. So I just thought it was really good just seeing the effort that the guys played with, like we talked about before, we can do everything that we want to do trying to replicate game speed, but there's nothing like it. And it just takes games for those guys to be able to see the things that they need to see full speed like that. And so the more that we do that, I think the more comfortable some of these guys are going to feel, and our execution will be better. And so that's the thing that we hope to see is just some of the little smaller details, be it a lineman not getting to his landmark on a block, a running back making his read, a receiver not quite getting to the top of his route, just those different things, those little fundamental things that you hope that you'll see, going forward with it, at game speed now.
To follow that up, then, what about Miami's defense? You would think, being an ACC team, they'd be a little bit harder to deal with than Western Kentucky.
They are extremely talented. I don't think that you could look anywhere on their depth chart and point out somebody as saying like, well, here's where we're going to try to attack. They're talented on every position on that field. They got great size, great length. Obviously, we played those guys last year. These guys know it was a lot of the same guys. They've lost some as far as their two linebackers with losing the two linebackers that they had that started last year. But the guys that are replacing the guys that they lost, these guys are really good players. They had a defensive end that opted out. Obviously, he was extremely talented, but the guy that's stepping in for him, number 15 as well, 6'6", probably about 275, 280, just great length, good strength that can get to the quarterback. And so both of their edge rushers are guys that came in from other programs that transferred in there that are very, very talented and very good at getting to the quarterback. And it's just a disruptive defense. And I think they do a really good job schematically with changing a lot of their looks, a lot of their pressures, but just from a talent standpoint, this is a very, very talented football team that we're going against on the defensive side for sure.
Hey,
Coach, this
Dwayne,
is Matt McCaffrey with Sports
Journal.
Illustrated. Pro Football Focus recently rated Louisville's offensive line as the best from week 2, and I actually rated Caleb Chandler as the third best offensive lineman from this past week. How happy does that make you to already be seeing some early season dividends just based off of the effort and production you're seeing already?
Our approach always, especially me with my guys, is just always trying to take them to another place and keeping the foot on the gas. I think all that is great. I know those guys appreciate that when they see that. But I'm probably always a little bit harder on these guys when it comes to things like that, as far as their grades and how they played, because I want them to always. I don't want them to ever feel like they're content. And so my thing is just making sure that I point out some of the things that I don't think that we did well in that game. And let's make sure that we work on it during practice so it can carry over into our next game, which is this Saturday. And so that's where I try to take it with it. But, I thought some of the guys played as well or better than at any point that they did last year. And that's a credit to those guys and how hard that they've been working. Caleb, you mentioned him. Thought Cole Bentley did a great job on the inside as well. I thought Renato Brown, seeing him out there and the way that he was playing and having fun out there it was good to see as well. You saw a guy, Cam DeGeorge, who came in and played 3 different positions on the offensive line. He played both guards and the right tackle at one point. And so all that was very positive to see. But we've got a lot to still work on, And these guys know that. They've seen it. They went out today and they worked extremely hard. And it's a fun group to coach. It's a fun group to be around. I love going to work with these guys because they got that about them as far as wanting to go out and try to get better each and every day.
Hey, Dwayne, Cameron with the Courier Journal. I know you come into the season and we always talk about a lot of the weapons of Tutu and Dez and Hawk, and you can go down a long line. But Braden kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people. Just kind of how much when he's in the game and he plays the way he did on Saturday, how much does that open up things for you guys to get other guys involved as well?
No, it's huge. That position, the slot receiver, that guy's going to have a lot of opportunities in this offense. And I think Braden has done a great job throughout camp, and even in the limited amount of spring ball that we had, he showed flashes all along. And it's great to see these guys get those opportunities in the game, especially this is our first game together. Just see him going out there making plays. And what a way to come onto the scene in your first game. And he had a great game, and we're extremely happy about that. It's just another person. I know Coach Satterfield mentioned about it before, another person that, you want to try to get the ball to, and then that's the thing about it. And that's a great thing about it. There's a lot of guys on this offense that can do some great things with the ball in their hands.
And
Dwayne Hayes, Jody from Cardinals.
Dwayne, yeah, just one quick follow-up to that. You had mentioned how many guys you have that you can get the ball to. I mean, when you look at it, there's a lot of times. I mean, Ian's touchdown kind of comes off the defense, kind of really focusing on Dez and Tutu. What does it speak to their unselfishness that they're able to be almost decoys sometimes to open up things for the other weapons?
Oh, I think that guy kind of shows just the type of the character that they have. You see that in the way those kids, they work when nobody's looking. The extra work that you see Dez and Tutu, Malik, all these guys putting in extra, and just how unselfish they are. Like before any practice, you see all that. Like that's just one thing I've seen about this group is before every practice, they're all dabbing each other and just kind of motivating each other, kind of lifting each other up before practice even begins. And I think that's a great thing. And those guys are extremely unselfish, and that's a sign of a great teammate and just the extremely high character. Just that kind of speaks volume for who they are as a person.
Dwayne Hayes, Jody from Cardinal Authority. What with Cam, is that something? And it was kind of like that with Adonis last year. I remember. Is it something that you have before the game that when you're going to put him in at what at for Robbie or for Caleb or whatever, or is that something that is just kind of in the game that you do?
Yeah, I truly feel like Cam is if we could start 6 linemen, I think that he'd be a starter. It's you had throughout fall camp. There's just we had almost 2 weeks of fall camp, not a lot of opportunities for scrimmages and things of that this year. And so going into the season, that this is going to be something that kind of will play itself out as far as like guys getting opportunities at game speed now and kind of see what they're doing against some high level competition against another opponent. And so, I always know that 6th guy, for me to be able to keep some of those guys, especially those inside guys, interior guys, fresh throughout the season. Because we're going to face them. I mean, every week, it's going to be something on the defensive line that we're facing. But to keep those guys fresh throughout the season, it's going to go a long ways down the road now. And so with our plan with Cam right now, we look at Cam as a starter. And so for us, he's rotating in there like almost every series with Robbie and with Caleb. And they got like a 3-man rotation going. To try to help keep those guys fresh. And I think that what you hope to do is to kind of take those reps off of those guys, some of those guys like Caleb and Robbie early on, so later in the season they don't wear down, or late in a game, that they're a little bit more fresh than what they would be if they had to take, those extra 15 to 20 reps in the first half.
Let's take one more.
As a quick follow-up, a quick follow-up. I know you played Clayton on the extra point team, I think. Are you close to a seventh guy or an eighth guy, or do you feel like it's still a little ways away from that?
I think that we're close to it. I do, and it's something that, you hope to get some opportunities where you can get some more guys in there that but it's something I don't feel like we're that far off with it. I just know right now I feel really, really comfortable with Cam. I mean, he's a very smart player. Obviously, he's got a lot of snaps underneath his belt, and so to me, it was kind of like, I mean, he was obviously ready for that position. But it's something I definitely feel like before midway point or something like that. I definitely hope to see that we have a guy that we can get that seventh guy in. You mentioned Clayton Six. You got Trevor Reed, who's also working hard. It's just some of those guys, some of it might be new guys just trying to continue to learn the system.
All right, Coach, we'll wrap up with you on that.
Appreciate you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks.
Oh!
Everything you ever, not ever, but this year in a while.
Yeah.
I was arguing.
Oh. Big dog.
All right, we'll switch gears and we'll open it up for questions now for Louisville offensive lineman Cole Bentley.
Cole, Rex Brown with Kentucky today. Could you speak to the motivation you guys have against Miami? I mean, not only is it your ACC opener, you've got all this hullabaloo with game day. You've got last year's debacle down there. So just talk about how you guys, your mindset going into the game.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, obviously you still have that lingering in your mind from last year. But, just it even being college game day to the type of players that they have. They have players that will get looks at the next level. So, obviously, that motivates you to want to play good against them so you can try to get your name out there and, create something for that. But just last year is really my motivation. I feel like we want to dominate the ACC. And, that's kind of something that people still talk about is last year how they, we just kind of, the game kind of ran away from us. So this year we kind of feel motivated to, play better and just have a better game overall.
What happened last year?
Last year, I'm not really sure, honestly. I mean, I thought we was prepared for it. I just think last year we got down there and we kind of just got carried away in the moment. We was down there playing in a big stadium. We've done that before, but it kind of don't really know how to explain it. It was just one of them games that just got away from you, and it was gone before you realized what was happening.
Cole, hey, it's Jody Demling with Cardinal Authority. Coach mentioned about your play and the other night and at a pretty high level. We really haven't talked to you since last year, I don't believe. What did something click for you kind of in the middle of last season? Because you ended last year on a high note and again start this season on one, according to Coach. Did something kind of click for you at some point?
I think it was really just kind of having somebody behind me that, I started to really believes in me and stuff. He would sit me down in his office and just talking about Coach Led. He would tell me like, Cole, I know you can do it. I know you can do this. This offense is, you're made for this offense. And, I guess just slowly over time buying into that, working into that system and kind of developing the traits you need for this type of offense. And it's just slowly made its way onto the field for me.
Cardinal Authority. You mentioned, the players that Miami have, guys that can play at the next level. When you see them on film, what stands out about their defensive front when you watch them?
They're kind of unique, honestly. I think they're really the only defense that we play that really has like a tilted shade, so that comes with its own pros and cons and stuff you got to be prepared for. But just overall, they're a big defensive line. They've got, 6'6" outside, 6'6", 270, a couple 6'5"ers inside, I think a 325. They're just all around big. They're big bodies and can move well.
Cole, this is Jody again, how would you assess not only your individual performance, but the line as a whole from last week? I think you guys only had one penalty the entire time, but the average with the rushing was just a little under 3, a little under 4.
Yeah, that's definitely not what we want. As in the rushing yards, I think we had like 144 rushing yards. So that's definitely not where we want it. But I think that they were kind of worried. They were kind of worried about our run game, and they were stacking the box. There was times there'd be 8, 9 people in there, and we're trying to run a play with 5 offensive linemen and a tight end blocking. So, and I think that's why it opened up a lot of our passing game. I felt like that was definitely what we dominated in last week. But overall, I thought we did good for an opener. And I definitely think there's a lot better football to be played from us.
Oh, Russ Brown again. You've been sort of the jack of all trades for the offensive line. Do you have a position that you think you're best at, that you favor, or is that center, or what do you think?
To be honest, I feel like it changes every week. I like last year, I would get in there and I feel like, man, I really did good at left guard last game. And then, at practice, I was like, wow, I'm really doing good at right. And then, it was just, I don't know. I guess whenever you didn't really, I didn't really have time to think about it last year. I would just, one series be at left, one series be at right, another series I'd snap the ball. I guess I just didn't really have time to think about that. But I definitely, if I could pick one, I would like center. I like just kind of being in control of it, especially in this offense. Coach Led, most of the time it's just free reign for me. I call the protections, I set the blocks, and I like that. It gets me more involved with the game, and I feel like whenever I'm more involved with the game, the better I do.
Hey, Cole Cameron from the Courier-Journal. I know you guys, obviously, I'm not trying to look ahead to Pitt, but you guys have a Western team that had a strong defensive line. You got a Miami team that has a pretty good defensive line as well, and then Pitt as well. You guys like having those tests early in the season like this?
You said, do we like having those tests early in the season?
Right, when you're going against D linemen that could potentially play in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. I think personally it doesn't matter really what time of the year it is. I think you always have to be up for it because, like you said, that they have their NFL opportunities there. And so if you don't come with your A game, then, your name can get passed over real quick. And so, early in the year, it definitely comes with its own challenges. You kind of really haven't found that rhythm, especially the O-line. That's a pretty big thing. But, I think for me, it's just really any time of the year, you got to be ready for them. But beginning of the year, it's a little bit harder because you don't have that rhythm developed yet.
Cole, hey, it's Jody again. What did you mention playing left guard, then right guard, and then center? Cameron did that the other night. Cam played left guard, then right guard, then I think right tackle. Mm-hmm. What has he brought to this line? What is he? He's played in a lot of games. What does he help kind of bring to you guys as a line?
Just another. So away from here, you have different coaches that want different things and are, you get a different viewpoint on stuff. When we're doing something, he brings another viewpoint to the table that we can kind of see. But the biggest thing for him is probably just the versatility. Being able to give people breaks. Because it's a long game that we play, and having somebody that can step in there and just give you even a series off. It goes a long ways. And so having someone that can, jump around and do that and give people breaks when they need them is huge.
All right. Anything else for Cole before we wrap up? All right, we'll end it on that, Cole. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for being with us tonight, and we'll see you this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.